Hey there, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back on our Monday night look back at a classic rock album featuring the album Dynasty. I'm sorry the cover is missing because it's up there as a poster. I've decided to put this poster up. Haven't seen this poster for a long time. I forgot that the cover of the CD had the poster as well. Anyways, I put this up. It's for Kiss's Dynasty, obviously. This album was produced by Vinnie Poncia at the Electric Ladyland Studios record plant in New York City. It's about 39 minutes in length on the Casablanca Mercury label, and was released in 1979, of course, you know. So anyways, this is the kind of the crux album, I guess you might want to call it. Well, before we go any further, it also features, for those of you who don't know who Kiss are, which is hard to believe, but features Paul Stanley, lead vocals, lead guitars, rhythm guitars, Ace Frehley, lead vocals, lead guitars, Gene Simmons, bass guitar and lead vocals, and Peter Criss, lead vocals and drums and percussion. All four of these members sing. They all sing very well, actually. So this album had a kind of an impact on the Kiss community and everybody else, to be honest with you, because up till this point, Kiss had not produced anything like this. It's got great production. I actually liked the album quite a bit. I didn't initially, though, because it sounded somewhat like people's solo albums put together here for a Kiss album. Also, it was a great diverge from what they were doing before that, which was hard rock, definitely hard rock, with a little bit of pop overtones, especially on the Love Gun album. But this album was far more over to the pop side, even some points to the disco side, and so a lot of Kiss fans hated it, but for me, I liked it. I didn't mind it, but it wasn't what I was used to, and it allowed me to open the door to other music to find what I was looking for. And without this album, I wouldn't have been able to do that. As simple as that, because I wouldn't have started looking. But it did bring the full-scale turn for this band. Also, the last album that really featured Peter Criss, I think he was fired after this album, or he left, whoever you want to listen to. I'm not getting into that, I don't care. He's gone, that's all that matters. So this album had 9 tracks. Paul Stanley singing I Was Made for Loving You, Magic Touch, and Sure Know Something. Sure Know Something and I Was Made for Loving You were kind of the bigger hits on the album. I Was Made for Loving You, of course, was the big hit on the album. They definitely have that Paul Stanley solo album flavor to them completely. I like all 3 songs, really catchy. He's exemplifying his ability to do different ranges in his voice. Really good. He's a rock star essential here when you hear this. Then you have, the next up is you have Ace Frehley, who does also 3 tracks on this song. Hard Times, Save Your Love, and 2000 Man. It's the first time Gene Simmons wasn't the second best or the second most sung songs on an album. And all good tracks by him. I like all 3 of them quite a bit. Save Your Love, such a stable poppy song. 2000 Man, the song they took from the Rolling Stones. Of course, he did that, I think, better than the Stones did. And Hard Times, which was my personal favorite. And you can tell, you're listening to the drums on Hard Times, you can tell that is definitely not Peter Criss playing those roles as triplets and stuff. But I guess Peter probably had Anton Fig playing. It sounded like Anton Fig to me. Anyways, definitely some outside influences on this album from various musicians, and I'm sure Anton Fig was playing on this. Okay, so then you get to Gene Simmons. He does the 2 songs X-Ray Eyes and Charisma. Charisma is a really kind of catchy, poppy, upbeat number with some interesting sounds to it. It's definitely a dark song, and it definitely feeds well into the Gene Simmons characterization of his character. It was initially my favorite song on the album. Not so much now. I like some of the Ace stuff better, and I Sure Know Something, I like that better. X-Ray Eyes, I never liked that tune. It never warmed up to it, and I still don't really like it too much. Then the last song on the album, which is the Peter Criss, and I guess this would be his swan song from the group, Dirty Living. I didn't like it initially, but it's grown on me because it's that typical, it's heavy, it's got that typical Peter Criss bluesy kind of raspy voice on it, which is fantastic. The group would miss him after his leaving. There's nobody in the group could replace his vocals of that type of stuff. But anyways, the album itself is a great album. Not one of my favorite Kiss albums, but I still like it a lot. It captures what was happening with the band. They were trying to change, like so many bands in the late 70s and 80s, trying to change their music style and adjust their music to fit the more up-to-date style of the time. Album doesn't sound very bad though. I think it's pretty good production here, and Vinny, I think, did a good job on that particular aspect of it. It's not an album I listen to much anymore, but I will pull it off the shelf on occasion, maybe once a year, and listen to it, and that's probably going to be today. Anyways, I hope you've had a chance to listen to this album. Give it a second shot. If you hated it in its time period, you're going to find there is some good stuff on this album. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like below and subscribe. Make your comments below as well, and we'll be back next week with another monster album. Another look back at a classic rock album. And I think I did forget to say that this was supposed to be out last week, because I did a couple takes, and I think this take I didn't do it. This was supposed to be out last Monday and wasn't released last Monday because I had first trouble recording it, then trouble uploading it, then had problems with the internet, and after a bit I just said, you know what, I'll just do it this week, which is what I've done. So anyways, please have yourself a good day and enjoy the rest of it, and take care, and goodbye.